Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Me Driving to Work. I am your host slash chauffeur, Darkness 30XX of the Black Hood Crew, named there in the corner. By all means, follow along on all major socials, Facebook and YouTube at the Black Hood Crew, Twitch, Twitter, Steam at the name there in the corner, BHC _ Darkness 30XX. And catch me on TikTok as well. Can't go live there yet, but working on it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this Tuesday going. It is January 18th. It's Tuesday. And bit of sad news last night around a little bit before midnight. At work, doing my thing, no patients, everything's hunky-dory, sitting chit-chatting. The phone rings, and this is the nursing desk letting me know, or letting my people know, that we're having a cardiac arrest coming in. That's basically a full-blown heart attack, right? And I go with everything I need to register the patient, and another rescue showed up. One they didn't know about that. Some guy with eye pain, right? So I registered the guy with the eye pain, and I let one of my coworkers handle the cardiac arrest once it showed up. So I'm standing outside seeing this thing pull up. No lights, no sense of urgency, no speeding, nothing. As they were getting the patient out of the back of the ambulance, they were not rushing at all. That was a bad sign. Already right off the bat, that was a bad sign. So once they get the patient out, I see that they have implemented what is called a thumper. And what this is basically that they essentially strap to the chest of the patient in need of chest compressions, and it does automatic chest compression, talking about 100% strength, 100% depth, 100% effective chest compressions continuously, because it is a machine, and because it's a machine, it does not tire, it does not to be changed out or anything like that. That machine is only used as a last resort. That's strike two. And once they brought the patient inside, I went to the back, and from the nursing desk, which was a fair distance away, I had basically a front row seat to them trying to save this man's life. And the entire time I was standing there, I was like, it's not looking good. Like, I'm no medical professional, but I've seen enough people die to know this was not going in the gentleman's favor. So keep in mind, this entire time that they're pushing meds, they're getting the patient hooked up to monitors, the whole 9 yards. The thumper is doing its job. So eventually I go, okay, we did push meds, did all this stuff, stop the thumper. So I stopped the machine. And they basically were looking for a pulse. They were looking for a heartbeat monitor, as well as checking the patient regularly. Nothing. Started the thumper again. That was strike three. And sure enough, after the second time they turned the thumper off and checked, I could hear it from where I was standing. Yeah, we're going to have to call it. And they did. 12:01 a.m. They called this gentleman as passing away. I knew it. the moment I saw the ambulance not making any kind of rush, and there was a sense of urgency, there was a sense of, hey, let's get there. Let's get him inside quickly. There was none of that. That's how I knew. The transport people knew. Hospital staff knew. They were basically going through the motions at that point. To say that they were making attempts, when in reality, rescue brought a body. They basically brought the patient to the hospital so that a doctor can pronounce the patient. Because unless you're literally missing your head or are in two pieces or something uber extreme like that, medical transport is not allowed in any capacity to pronounce someone's passing. Not allowed to. Simple as that. A doctor has to be the one to make the pronouncement. So that's what they did. They basically got this guy. They did what they could to make it appear that, you know, he has a chance, but in reality, he didn't have a chance the moment they got there. Bring him to the hospital so that the doctor can pronounce it. And it is sad. But he was 82. So, I mean, it's not like he had that much left to go anyway. And keep in mind, all of this was done. The entire process, everything, the motions, pronouncement, everything. Even the cleanup afterwards, I saw that too, was done before the family could even show up. So I had to watch and hear as the doctor came out, spoke to the family and let them know there was nothing they could have done. Nothing. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is a part of life. The only thing that we hope for is that in his life, he wasn't a bad person, or at least was mostly good, as no one is truly fully good. No one is. All we can hope for is that he lived a good life, that he left behind good memories for his family, his children, grandchildren, I'm guessing based on his age, any other extended family, that hopefully he left behind good memories. And it kind of sounded like he was well loved, well liked, as you know, the doctor let these family members know. I could hear the screams, the crying. So yeah, I would assume he led a good life, left behind good memories. But unfortunately, it's death will come for us all at one point or another. For some of us that are lucky, more than once. But death comes for us all. It's the only thing in life that is guaranteed, 100% without fail. There's no way around it. There's no bargaining. There's no way to stave it off. It will come. And unfortunately for that gentleman, it was his time. Anyway, as I make my way to work today, it's a little bit of traffic, nothing too crazy. Um, Hopefully, yesterday everyone had a solemn, quiet day off, as it was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday yesterday. Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was yesterday. Um, Come on, dude, let's go. Let's go. That is one particular holiday that, although you get a day off, not many people really understand what it means to quote unquote celebrate. Because that's not a day for festivities. That's not a day for partying. That's not a day for causing issues or anything like that. It's a day in solemn remembrance of Martin Luther King Jr., his words, his actions, his ideas, his hope. And I highly doubt anybody really understands what it is that that man tried to do for the period of time that he was here with us. And you see it all the time. You see people on Twitter who otherwise would not give a rat's ass about anybody of color, will make a Twitter post, a Facebook post, or some sort of social media comment saying we remember MLK, or in remembrance of MLK Jr., or something to that effect. You also have those who cause problems in the community, specifically on that day. Um, Again, that's a stop sign. Far too many people do not understand what he stood for. Agree what a lot of others like him stood for, though they did in their own fashion. Malcolm X, um, Black Panthers, Mahatma Gandhi. Um, there's many different people who all try to push for the same idea, whether it's for the people, for the regions of the world, through various methods. Cesar Chavez is a good one as well, who pushed for an idea, a very simple idea, that we saw each other as brothers and sisters in life, that we saw each other as equals, that our skin colors, our upbringings, all the things that are used to divide us nowadays don't really hold value. That I am just as important as the next person, regardless of where they came from, their skin color, their beliefs, the language they speak, who they decide to love, who they decide to associate as. We're all the same. We're all trying to get through life in one way, shape, or form, peacefully, Some of us prefer it more quietly than others. But in the end, we all want the same thing: to go through life happy, healthy. And we can do that if we continue to spit in the face of the ideas of great men who stood for those ideas, but were cut down because of those ideas, because of the racist intentions of those that stood against these people, that stood against these men, these women as well. We're all the same. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. We are all the same. We all want the same things: to be happy, to live our lives happily, peacefully, healthy. Far too often, we allow ourselves to fall into the trappings, the false ideas that we're not all the same, that you can't judge a book by its cover. You can, segregate. You can go about your life looking down on others simply because of their skin color, their language, their gender, their social gender, their associated, love language, how they decide to identify, their sexualities. No one is above anyone else. Because like that poor gentleman from last night, at the end, it's not going to matter. We're all going to end up exactly the same. Doesn't matter how much money you have in life. Doesn't matter all the great things you do in life. Doesn't matter how many children you had, how many women you took to bed, how many men you took to bed. None of that matters. Because at the end, we're all going to end up exactly the same way. Whether remains are cremated, buried, donated. Regardless of how our remains are treated, we end up exactly the same. Gone. And if you really think about it, after a couple generations, we're essentially forgotten. No one left alive who knew us. Later generations only going by what stories are told about us. Second, third-hand knowledge. Even further so. So, why would you spend what little time you have here in life looking down on others, hating someone because of their skin color, because of their associated gender, because of their sexuality, because of where they came from, because of how much money they have or don't have? It's a waste of energy, waste of thought process. Instead, doing something more constructive with that time, that energy, that effort. Get educated. Start a family. start a business, or just live your life. I mean, oh, come on, dude, really? There's absolutely no reason why anyone should look at another person, regardless of how they appear, how they act, and say, before you open your mouth, before you even had a chance to say a single phrase, single syllable, before you even had a chance to show me what kind of person you are, I already don't like you. In fact, I already hate you. You haven't done anything to me personally. You haven't done anything to anybody I know. And you're suddenly just going to say, I hate you. There's nothing to gain from that, but everything to lose. Racists, bigots are some of the worst people that exist in the world. And it's 100% needless. That mentality serves no purpose. There is no benefit, short term or long term, for everyone involved when there's that kind of sentiment going around in society. There isn't. So, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what can I do? What can we do? There isn't much. That can be agreed upon. There isn't much that can be done. Except educating yourselves, learning about others. And I'm not talking about reading somebody's library, trying to learn the history of their families, their origin story. Like that's not what I'm asking about. I'm talking about learning learning and comprehending, understanding that there are other people in the world besides yourself. There are other people in life trying to get through life, same as you. That's it. Once you realize that there are other people struggling through life, same as you, whether they're struggling financially, whether they're struggling, mentally, whether they're struggling physically, everybody's got some sort of struggle. None of us are getting through life clean and easy. That's not how life works. Some people are having a better go at it than others. There are those that are, more financially well off that may not struggle with, putting food on the table, making rent, making that car payment, or hell, even be able to put gas in their car. Yeah, there are people going through life like that. At the same time, they're going through some other struggles. Maybe they're the family struggles. The mom and dad who don't approve of a relationship. The brothers and sisters who are constantly getting into trouble. They may have all in the world, but that doesn't mean they're not having some sort of problem. Maybe they're suffering through some sort of addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or what have you. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got their issues. Everybody has their problem. Once you realize that, truly realize and understand that, you'll be able to wake up one day and go, being a hateful, despicable person, it's not worth it. Nothing to be gained, everything to lose. Once you realize that, then you can stop and go, now what do I do with this energy? Now what do I do with this effort? And you figure out constructive things you can do with it. Whether it's getting extended education, learning a new skill, starting a business, starting a family, what have you. Doesn't matter. This is newfound energy, newfound effort that can be redirected towards something more constructive, something with some benefit, specifically to you, but may also benefit others. You never know. On that note, as you can see, I've arrived at work, changed my glasses, work badge and whatnot going. So this is where we'll cut off. I will see you guys tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for my stream. We're going to continue Super Mario 64 in HD, full 60 frames a second, and a custom texture pack. Until then, I've been your driver / host, Darkness30XX of the Black Hood Crew, name in the corner. And again, follow along YouTube and Facebook at the Black Hood Crew, Twitch, Twitter, Steam at DHC_Darkness30XX. Catch me on TikTok as well. Until tomorrow night, have a great day and be excellent to each other.